It starts with shaky hands, muffled whispers, and the lens capturing something it shouldn't. Found footage, grainy, real, and often terrifying, has always held a unique power. Not the fictional kind shown in movies, but the real, raw recordings that were never meant to be seen. Whether captured by victims, unsuspecting witnesses, or even the perpetrators themselves, these tapes have surfaced in the darkest corners of the internet and criminal archives, telling stories that chill the bones and leave unanswered questions lingering in the night. In this video, we're delving deep into 5 of the most disturbing, real-life found footage cases ever discovered. Videos that were never supposed to be public, footage that reveals horror in its purest form, and stories that never leave you. What you're about to hear is not for the faint of heart. Let's begin. Case 1 begins with the mysterious death of Kenny Veach, an experienced hiker from Nevada. Kenny was known for his solo desert hikes and his adventurous spirit. In 2014, he posted a comment on a YouTube video about strange occurrences in the Nevada desert. He claimed he once stumbled upon a mysterious cave shaped like a perfect M while hiking near Nellis Air Force Base. When he approached it, he felt intense vibrations in his body and a sense of pure terror that forced him to flee. Viewers, skeptical yet intrigued, urged him to go back and record his findings. Kenny returned with a camera and never came back. Days later, search and rescue found his cell phone near an abandoned mine shaft, but no sign of Kenny himself. But what makes this case disturbing is the footage Kenny left behind. His final video, uploaded before he disappeared, shows him hiking through a desolate, eerie landscape, joking nervously and making vague references to the M Cave. The footage cuts abruptly. There's no evidence of an encounter or struggle, no indication of what went wrong, just silence and the growing tension of a man walking straight into the unknown. Online sleuths have dissected every frame, amplifying wind sounds, analyzing shadows, even tracing his steps. But nothing conclusive has ever been found. The M Cave has never been verified, and Kenny Veach remains a ghost in the Mojave Desert. Our second case takes us to Russia, where a horrifying piece of dashcam footage was uncovered in the aftermath of a grisly accident. In 2017, a small car crashed off a rural road near Kaluga, and authorities discovered a camera still running. At first, it appeared to be a tragic, routine accident. But when investigators reviewed the footage, what they saw turned the case into a media frenzy. The video begins like any other, 2 young men, laughing and playing music as they drive. But about 15 minutes in, the mood shifts. One of the men glances nervously in the rearview mirror. He begins whispering to the driver, claiming he sees a figure walking in the road behind them. The driver brushes it off as fatigue. But then the car's interior temperature reading suddenly drops on the dashboard, and the music cuts out. The camera glitches briefly. When the feed stabilizes, both men are completely silent, staring straight ahead. Then comes the scream, not from inside the car, but from outside. The driver swerves violently. The car crashes into the trees. The camera rolls as the passenger staggers out, bleeding and sobbing. He points the camera back toward the road. There, barely visible, is a humanoid figure walking slowly toward the crash, its movements unnatural, jerking, almost like a puppet. The feed ends with static. Both men were found dead, their bodies showing signs of severe trauma, but no footprints or signs of another person were ever found at the scene. The footage, leaked online briefly before being taken down, continues to circulate in forums dedicated to the paranormal. Many believe they encountered something not of this world. Others suspect a setup. But the bodies were real. The injuries were real. And what that dash cam saw has never been explained. Case 3 is perhaps the most infamous of all, the case of Elisa Lam and the footage from the Cecil Hotel elevator. In 2013, Canadian student Elisa Lam traveled to Los Angeles and checked into the historic and notoriously haunted Cecil Hotel. On January 31st, she was reported missing. For days, No one knew what had happened. Then, LAPD released surveillance footage from one of the hotel's elevators, hoping the public could help. What the footage revealed sparked one of the most disturbing internet mysteries of all time. Elisa enters the elevator alone. She presses multiple buttons, peeks out into the hallway, then jumps back in, as if hiding from someone or something. Her behavior grows increasingly erratic. She steps out, back in, then makes strange hand gestures as if communicating with someone invisible. Finally, she walks out of frame. The elevator doors remain open for an unnaturally long time. Then they close. That was the last time Elisa Lam was seen alive. Her body was found 2 weeks later in a sealed water tank on the hotel's roof after guests complained of low water pressure and foul-tasting water. How she got into the tank remains a mystery. The roof access was locked, the tank heavy and difficult to open. The official cause of death was ruled accidental drowning, but the questions left behind have never faded. Was she running from someone? Suffering a mental health crisis? Or did something sinister follow her into that elevator? The footage, still available online, is haunting, not because of what it shows, but because of what it doesn't. It's like watching someone trying to escape a nightmare you can't see. Our fourth found footage case is from the infamous Dyatlov Pass incident. In 1959, 9 experienced hikers died under mysterious circumstances in the Ural Mountains of Soviet Russia. When rescuers found their tent, it had been ripped open from the inside. The bodies were scattered across the snow, some in a state of undress, others with fatal injuries that seemed almost inhuman. One had a crushed skull, another missing eyes and a tongue. Found among their belongings was a camera. Though much of the film had been damaged, a few photographs were recovered. Most showed smiling faces, snowy peaks, and moments of camaraderie. But one image, known as Frame 33, has sparked decades of speculation. The blurry photo appears to capture a humanoid figure in the distance, partially obscured by trees. Some believe it was a fellow hiker, others a soldier, and some believe it was something else entirely, perhaps even a Yeti or government experiment gone wrong. But what chills even more than the photo is the final entry in their diary, written just hours before their deaths. It reads, "It seems like we are no longer alone." Combined with their strange injuries and the mysterious image, it paints a picture of a group pursued by something they couldn't outrun. The Soviet government closed the case quickly. But that image, the figure standing in the cold wilderness, watching, remains one of the most disturbing photographic mysteries ever unearthed. Our fifth and final case comes from a seemingly innocuous camcorder tape discovered in an abandoned house in Gary, Indiana, a home that would later be dubbed the portal to hell. In 2014, a family fled the house after claiming it was haunted. Police, skeptical at first, began an investigation. When they entered the home, one officer found an old, dusty camcorder in the basement. Inside was a single tape. What they watched changed everything. The footage starts with grainy shots of children playing in the house. Their laughter fills the frame, but behind them, in the shadows, something moves. The parents, who later claimed to have performed makeshift exorcisms, interview their kids on tape about what they've seen. The youngest says the man with no eyes stands in his room at night. The older son shows scratches on his arms he says appeared while he slept. At first, it seems like classic poltergeist tropes. But then the tape gets worse. The camera shakes violently. A door slams on its own. A voice, low, guttural, and inhuman, can be heard whispering in the background. The final segment is just noise and static until the screen goes black. Then, a single frame flashes, a face. Pale, distorted, and not one anyone in the family recognized. Officers who viewed the footage later reported nausea, headaches, and nightmares. One quit the force not long after. The footage was never released to the public, but was later referenced in the official police report, making it the first time law enforcement officially documented demonic activity in the U.S. Whether you believe in possession or not, The reactions from hardened officers suggest something on that tape truly disturbed them to the core. These 5 cases, each uniquely terrifying, remind us that reality can sometimes be more disturbing than fiction. Found footage, in its raw and unfiltered form, offers a rare glimpse into moments not meant to be seen. They capture the last breath, the final scream, the shadow at the edge of the light. They remind us that some mysteries refuse to be solved, and that horror doesn't always come with a soundtrack or a jump scare. Sometimes, it's just a shaky hand, a whispered plea, and the silent eye of a camera bearing witness to the unthinkable.